All right, welcome back. Let's do some TikTok reaction. 50-50 marriage. I'll be partnership. Which one be which one? Pick one. 50-50 marriage or partnership. Pick one. Okay, pick one. Let's talk about this. 50-50. We have been kind of raking over this for a while. We didn't really hit it on the head on the day we did the family meeting with Brother Ben and Film Girl. But let's talk about it today. This 50-50 of a thing. I'll tell you where this... We didn't really hit it on the nail. We didn't really cover it. Okay, so but let's just finally get to it. And I have a feeling that this will keep coming up. Over and over. Okay. Yep, this will keep coming up over and over again. So, the idea of 50-50 comes in different forms. What I've noticed, my observation, correct me if I'm wrong, when people are talking about this, they're usually talking about it from a standpoint of, they will say 50-50 or 100-100, okay? All right? They say, you always have somebody who will do a comeback and say, no, it should never be 50-50, it should be 100-100. And I'm like, huh? Kill I mean.
You think say they're wise?
It's not 50-50, it's 100-100. What did my brother on Auntie B's platform, what's his name? Samolu. Brother Samolu, what did he say? He said, it's not 50-50 exactly. It's 50%. Wow. So let's do a quick math. Let me see. Let's do 50-50. You'll be like, what are we doing? Yeah, let's do some math. Okay, let's do some quick math. Let me bring this a little bigger. Aha! All right, let's go to google.com. All right, and let's do 50 divided by 50. Let's do that. What does that show? Anybody know what that says? No, let's do the math. Everybody likes to talk in math these days. When they're talking about relationship, they want to talk in math. So we might as well just do it, right? So whenever you say 50-50, some people have a pushback. No, it should not be a 50-50, right? But that 50-50, what it essentially means is that you show up with 50%, and I show up with 50%, and we make one, right? So, you know, you shall live and cleave, right? And to be so way, you shall live and cleave, which is a scripture, which is true, right? And you become one, right? Now, people like, no, that doesn't sound cute enough. We need that to be a little bit, it needs to sound a little fancy. So some people say, you know what, if you bring 50% of yourself, right? Now they're talking about the relationship itself, right? Like you're bringing your A game, right? If you're bringing half of A game, and I'm bringing half of A game, spiritually, we're going to end up with half. That's not good. When we can end up with double, right? So what did they do? They doubled the 50, right? And then they doubled the 50, right? And then you have 100. Like 100. You know, Allah is being lame. It's like, wait, 100. Let's do the math again. 100/100. Let's see if that becomes 2. No, math is saying it is still 1. Ouch. We're still stuck at 1. So it's not even half. It's still 1. You bring 50, I bring 50, right? Some people say it doesn't matter. 50 or 50, as long as it's equality, right? We're talking about equality. That's what all of us were advocating for that. At first, it was just women advocating for equality due to the history of this society we live in and the subjugation of women in society for opportunities, right? Women said we want equality, right? At one point, they said, no, I don't want to change my tires, okay? I don't want to have to be changing stuff around my house when I can have a man worry about the bulb that's out, right? Like, let's let the man take care of that, right? Like, what I'm asking for is equity, not equality, okay? Not equality, equity, okay? So when you talk about equity, meaning if I need a little help, put something under my feet so I can reach the same height that you can reach. Okay, so we can have a equity-based society, right? So 100 is not 51. Now, Sambolu, now inside of Auntie B's chat, he now came up with 50%. 50%. I don't know if he came up with it, but he explained it. I'm like, this explanation is kind of making better sense, right? But his explanation was focused on finances. Okay, his explanation was focused on finances. And what was it? The explanation to the finances is you bring 50% of your income. So he said, I think the example he gave, I'm trying to think, okay, if you make $100,000 as the man, perfect, right? You make $50,000 as the woman, right? So if the man brings 50% of his income to the table for our livelihood, that will be $50,000, right? So 50% of yours, and then you bring 50% of yours. That's $25,000. Now we have $75,000. Should make sense. Is it making sense? Is my math making sense so far, right? But I couldn't help myself. I was like, let me go to Google. Because I'm just as pragmatic as everybody else. That's why I take my time to explain this stuff, right? It's just that when I'm claiming to be pragmatic, I don't like removing the biggest variable of it, which is emotions. I don't like that. That used to like what about the biggest variable? Emotions. What do you mean emotions? F your feelings, Jare. You're like, why am I clapping? No, seriously. That's what they say. Like, nobody care about your feeling. This is reality. Like, I think you should tell your face to remove the feelings off your face too, because your face is completely disconnected from the statement you just made. Feelings are real, okay? Particularly emotions are real. It's literally what drives this whole thing. The marketplace, right? Your jobs. I just told you some people claim to be professionals, and they're very quick to tell you, like, well, let me know when you are finished. And they lead with passive aggression, right? They don't, even they want to play politics or what, they don't know how to play it right. They always shoot themselves on the legs. There's some people like that. Anyway, so I couldn't help myself. I went to the internet. I went to Google. I said 50%, divide by each other, right? Oh, no, it still end up at 1. Still end up at 1. We're still ending up in the same circle. Well, I think it's okay. We're ending up at 1. The issues here is that there's an X factor. There's an X factor here. Let me put those two. Let's use Samolu's 50%, right? And then let's multiply that by X. Oh, now I see your math problems. 50% divided by 50%, there's an X. There's an unknown. There's an X factor here. It's not as simple as we like to make it out to be. Unfortunately, it's not. Okay, it will never be that simple. No. We like to claim that finances is causing problems and stuff. Like, yeah, sure, it is causing problems because there's something else missing. There's a void somewhere. What is the void? What is the X factor? Right? From stories to stories to stories to story, it will vary, right? Which is why we ask people, say, hey, tell us the rest of the story. What else is happening with your marriage? No, we just always fight over money. No. Tell me what else is going on with your marriage. No, it's just money that keeps causing our problem. Okay, what about when you first met? Was money causing problem at that time? Oh, no. At what point, I just started noticing that she started to have different types of funny friends. Her friends are always teaching us to do. Tell me about those friends. Tell me a little bit more about those friends. Well, there are all these kind of girls that go to parties and they're always thinking, well, all they think about is Ashabi and all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, you know what, we too, you should have some kind of savings. And instead of, and then every time I say that, she just kind of flare up. Oh, every time you're trying to communicate this issue, she flares up. Oh, I don't want to jump the guns, right? Have you ever taken a class on communication within marriage before? What do you mean? I mean, we're a couple. I always ask how we can sit down and talk like adults. But she just, I mean, I could never say anything to her. I've been working on eggshell in my own home for about 3 years. And I just feel like at some point I should put my foot down and say, hey, bring 50% of your money. Okay, I want to see all 50% of your little $20,000 per year. That $20,000 you're making, I want to see all 50% of it. Bring it to this table. What do you bring to the table? Right? Let's bring 50% on the table so that we can finance it. And then, but every time I say that, she's talking about financial abuse. Say it in so financial abuse. Exactly. Why are we talking about financial abuse? There's unknown factors. There's an X factor, right? It's not the numbers. It's not the numbers. It's never been about the numbers. It will never be about the numbers. If you think it's about the numbers, there will continue to be casualties of this half-ass knowledge. Okay, or wisdom, I should say. I think Samolu narrowed his 50% to just financial so that there's a family financial plan that everybody is on board with as partners in the marriage. It could be 80-20%. Yes, but we were talking about the 50-50. And my response to it, because I responded to him in the chat, and truthfully, I found it profound because I've never really heard anybody say it that way. But why not just 50% of our income, babe? Let's see how we complicate things, okay? 50% of your income, 50% of your income, it makes 75,000. He actually took the time to explain it to me in the chat, right? It could easily be like, hey, babe, 50% of our household income, let's put it. If your relationship is in a good place, the conversation will be that simple. 50% of our household income, baby, should be going towards, I propose that. What do you think? What says you, baby? It could be that, right? Now, if it has to be more complicated, then you go in the angle that you're talking about, Chindima, which is 80-20. I bring 80% of my $100,000, you bring 20%. Oh, Samolu actually went on to tell me, okay, shout out to my brother Samolu, by the way. He actually went on to tell me that the idea is fairness and equity. And then at that point in time, like, he stopped by here before, but no, he's not consistent. Fairness and equity inside of a marriage. What do you mean? Tell me more. Now, tell me more. I want to hear more of those X factor. Fairness and equity between one person or two people, because we're not supposed to be one. United front. Fairness against who's the enemy? Who's the friend? Who's the foe and the enemy here? It's a mindset. All of this is mindset. That's what it comes down to. Because it could be as simple as, babe, 75%, we're putting this away. 20%, babe, you know I can't afford 75% of my small 50,000, you want to take it. No. Babe, I have to be able to afford certain things. That will be the conversation, right? The conversation will get a little bit deeper, right? And if they are that much of friends and they can actually have that conversation at that level, all of this will not. If she's making $20,000, $30,000 a year and you're making $130,000 a year, this conversation will probably not exist in this form. It will just be another picture entirely. So what is the solution? Well, we need to first of all identify the actual problem before we give solution. We can't keep solving the problem that does not exist or the problem that's been misidentified. That's a lot of these issues, right? We misidentify a problem and then we're trying to solve it with cookie cutter solutions, right? A lot of time we're just giving solutions that doesn't really align with the actual problem because people don't even know how to communicate long enough or patiently enough to actually uncover the actual problem. Why? Because they are discounting emotions. Emotions no big thing. We say emotions no be your mate. They're emotions, no, nobody cares about your emotion. This is reality. Really? You think? Okay. I'll be here when you can. Even that statement was made out of emotions. This is reality. That's your emotions talking. Anyway, in Samolu's example, the reason is some men are not crushed under the financial weight of earn more, of running a household, but he assumed men earn more. We didn't discuss the situation the woman earns more. Yes, he put that together like that when they did the actual show on NTB, right? So that men are not crushed, right? If the issue is that there's too much weight on the man, right? We can have that conversation, right? That's like an entirely different conversation, right? That conversation did not have to connect with 50-50 in any form or the other, right? Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying he brought in the 50%, and that actually enlightened me more in terms of what else people are talking about out there. But it still came back to the same thing, right? So we just kind of like move in circles back to the same issue, right? If the weight of the financial burden of the family is on me, it's okay. It simply means we have never really taken the time to talk about our finances as a family, right? That's something you sit down, you talk together as one body, one united front. You have a household income. If you are filing taxes jointly at the end of the year, you've been doing it for a few years. I'm just talking America now, sorry for those of you not in America. You're filing jointly, not filing married separately. You're filing jointly. So this issue of not knowing your income will not be an actual issue, at least not in subsequent years, maybe just in the last year, not in subsequent year. You have an idea, right? And then you guys can sit down and have a plan around that. If you have other issues, let's say, for example, your wife's mom was already teaching her to hide some money so that she can build a separate house in Lekki somewhere outside of you. That is a different conversation entirely. You're not going to solve that problem by forcing that person to come and donate 50% of their money. First of all, that suggestion will end up straight in the poto. Your problems are deeper. The problems are deeper. And for as long as you don't identify the actual problem, you will continue to be in problem. In fact, you will build deeper hole for yourself. That's what you're going to do. They will just find better ways to hide those money away from you. And the next time they upgrade themselves and they get some promotion at work, they will hide that from you too. They don't feel safe. Remember the last topic? They don't feel safe to even express themselves to you. Because to them now, you're looking like the enemy. Remember, fairness and equity. Where do you discuss fairness and equity? Somebody has to be an oppressor. The other person has to be the victim. Where else would you express that? You're just not in that space in your family. And you're solving a problem that's not really the issue. The issues are deeper than that. You're just looking at the symptoms. So you want 50%? Yeah, sure, 50% of, what about that other income? What about your shop? My shop. Did you open the shop with me? I beg. We have a lot of marriages like this. They don't have a united front. And yet people are trying to solve those problems with math. Will it work? It cannot work. Anyway, her friends are modern women. Yep, that will come up. Okay. Once they can't get their way, they will basically say it's a friend it's either your mother-in-law is teaching her daughter or the friends are teaching them. Yep. Bring what you can as a man. Women cover if not enough and even had more because they understand. I see that. That's typically when there's a united front, that's typically what happens. Okay, women will cover so much more that you're not privy to. That she take care of herself, she does her hair, she take care of the babies, buy clothes for her, but you take care of the bills in the house, right? You take care of that and you manage your resources around that. You don't overdo yourself. If she say you should go and buy a big house, and then she better be, obviously the conversation has to expand beyond just your income at that point. And obviously that conversation will be different, right? But no, you're planning your livelihood for you and your family around the income of your wife that you're not even privy to know how much that money is. Nobody should be that. That comes down to resource management conversation. That is an issue as a man. In general. Now, if you're already stuck, even if you're stuck, it's okay to ask for help. But how you ask for that help is everything. You're not just going to be all demanding and say, me as your wife, just bring 50. That's not going to work. I'm just painting the reality for you. The reality is that your request will end up straight in the poto, okay? You might not see it up front. They will hide it from you. They don't feel safe to tell you the truth. Right? So now, I'm teaching them to hide it. No, I cannot teach a person who wants to be on the same united front against you. Possible, right? Because they will be like, Allah is the enemy. My husband makes me feel safe. That's what will work. Just like her mother cannot teach her against you if she doesn't feel safer with her mother. Just like the friends cannot teach her against you If not that she's feeling safer with her friends. Same thing. Same thing. You gotta hold this. This one has to be proper first. Your resource management skills has to be proper first. That's not the whole 50-50 conversation just doesn't make any sense. Either you call it 50-50 or 100-100 or 50%. I know where it's coming from. It's not that the math doesn't make sense. The math is the same thing anyway. 1-1-1. So it's not even about that. It's about the mindset that drives that. That mindset might be coming from a holy place, a good intentions place, but a very ignorant place. A place that's not really in tune with what's really going on. That's why a lot of people will end up saying, no, they didn't see it coming. Exactly. You didn't see it coming? Of course not. You didn't see it coming. Because after all, this should be simple math. It just makes sense. Fairness and equity against who? Who is the enemy? Who is the oppressor? Fairness and equity as how? This is a marriage. Marriage or partnership? Which one are you looking for? Sometimes, from a mindset standpoint, you have to pick one. Sometimes. By default, a marriage is a partnership between two people. That's not what I'm talking about right now. But I'm talking about at a mindset level, right? Is this a marriage or just some kind of business partnership? Because even if that was the case, you will still need to have aligned vision. Even at work, in the corporate setting, the vision must align. But when the vision is not aligned, you will fight. And you might even force it to try to stick together. When you work, you're just wasting time. Take it from me. I'm speaking from a lot of experience, not just marriage, even business partnership. Okay? It's not enough that we're going to make money together. It's not enough. The vision must align. Okay? All right. If you don't believe me, go and try it somewhere else. Oh, I see your point, Ola. Asking for help is different from prescribing rules and regulations. That's where the 50-50-100 is coming from. That's the only place it's coming from. It's one person that's struggling with their destiny, that's arguing with their destiny. The other person is like, no. That's what we're talking about here. Okay, because it would not be a big topic if it was smooth. It won't be a big topic. It became a big topic because people are arguing with their destiny. It doesn't work. Okay, we have a household income. In my house, we have a household income. All of the money, household income. All right. I'm not sitting anywhere asking you bring 50, I bring 100. No, like come on now. No. That's so extra. That is all kind of extra. And people are living that type of extra life, and that's why they don't have any peace of mind. Because they're not dealing with the number one issue, which is having a united front with their partner. Right? I always say that here, there's one goal, unity. One goal. Your main job is unity. But like we were talking about Auntie Pastor Mildred earlier, right? To get to that unity, sometimes you will engage friction. It might be a rough patch, meaning it seems like you're toning you're not speaking the truth, you're toning it down. But no, I always advise against that too. While you're doing that, you're actively listening. You're listening out for opportunity to align with the other person. And you don't have to have the answer that day. Right? But we don't have that patience for the most part. We're not born with that patience. What we do is like we have an idea in our head, and it's usually mathematical. We have an idea in our head what it's supposed to be, and when that other person is disconnected from it, we'll call it they're not being reasonable. No, they are being exactly a human being, and you're not listening long enough. It could be a man, it could be a woman. It could be a man, it could be a woman. Either way, if at least one person is not going to be actively listening to where the other person is coming from, there's going to be a disconnect, and that's going to be a problem. All right, let me see. But I bet men under attack again, bro. Elaborate. Let me hear it. Waiting for your scenario of how woman can make their husband demand 50%. Elaborate. I'm not sure. Let me see. Fairness is paramount at times, Baba. Let's not just analyze issues from the angle that men are culprits all the time. Elaborate. I'm confused. I'm so confused. Is that what you think MOP does? I don't even understand it to even know what I do first. Elaborate. The link is pinned to the top. Please feel free. That's how it sounds. Yeah. Is Ola not a man himself, or it sounds to you like he is pandering to women? No, but I said it a few times. I'm just pandering to women here. It doesn't matter. I need him to elaborate so we can address the issue. 50-50 marriage or partnership. Honestly, none of the above. Okay, but let me play this video and then let's talk, and then hopefully maybe by then we jump onto the. He might be at work though, but hopefully he can jump on, and then we can talk about this. Let's see. All right, let's see. There you go. All right, so let's listen to this.
Everyone says marriage should be 50-50. It's the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard. It's never 50-50.
Yeah.
Ever. And so what we do is we quantify where we are. So if Steve comes home and he'll be like, I got 20.
Just in terms of energy.
Just energy, investment, kindness, patience. I'm at a 20. And I'll be like, I'll cover you. I got you, brother. Like, I'll pull the 80. Sometimes we come home, which we have done a lot. My mom has been sick, and I'll say, I've got 10. And Steve, like 2 days ago, said, I'm riding a solid 25. So we know that we have to sit down at the table anytime we have less than 100 combined and figure out a plan of kindness toward each other.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because the thing is, marriage is not something that's 50-50. A partnership works when you can carry their 20 or they can carry your 20.
So even partnership. Let me turn this down a little bit. It was so loud. Even partnership. Remember, I just said that the product, the vision of the business, you must align. And partnerships are not always 50-50 either. When they're talking about this, it's almost like every partnership is 50-50. In what world do you live in? When Jay-Z is a partner at buying the Nets, the basketball team, you think he owns 50% of that? No. In what world do you live in where every partnership is 50-50? Sometimes there's most of the time there are more than two partners in a business deal. Sometimes you're just a partner just for owning 10%. I don't know, it was less than 10% that Otedola owns of First Bank now that he's now the chairman of First Bank. He was a major stakeholder at almost 10% of First Bank PLC in Nigeria. I think that's what they call it. Right? So even in the business world, all of this idea just falls straight in the poto. They are all ideas that just don't work in the real world. In the real world, there's actual competition. And if your own company with your own partners and the people you work with, if you don't align, you guys will fall apart soon enough and another company will take over. It's a very competitive marketplace. The only difference is that in the business world, they don't blame it on the devil. We blame it on the devil. You think the business you work for is looking for fairness between your company and their competitors? They're looking for fairness. You think that's their main goal, fairness? They might put that on paper because of laws, labor laws. You think they're trying to be fair? What? They will shoot you. They will destroy everything you can. If you look like enemy, they will completely total you. And they will take over. And they will cover it up to look legal. Because they know that the laws, labor laws, says fairness. Keep in mind, we talk about power intelligence here. We're not just talking out of our ass. Not only am I talking about emotional intelligence, social intelligence, and all this, I talk about power intelligence. You need to understand that at the end of the day, that fairness thing is just if you at the society level, right? If you're doing charity, yes, we have some organizations fighting for that, for fairness. We have the human rights. There's a place for that in society, right? Your marriage is not that place. You should be having your partner on your team, not looking for fairness. When you see your partner, you see you. That's why when people say, oh, man, you're disrespectful when they cheat. No, he's disrespecting himself. That's a man with low self-esteem and low self-respect. Now, I don't expect you to see it that way. Obviously, there's a problem. That's why you see him as the enemy, right? That's why you see him as the enemy. There's a division. There's active division in that situation. And the division is what I am fighting against, right? It's always key. Let's continue this video.
And that when you both just have 20, you have a plan where you don't hurt each other. Have you ever...
When you both just have 20, you have a plan, we don't hurt each other. Think about that. When we both just have 20, we have a plan. We don't hurt each other. I don't even know who this lady is.
Everyone says marriage should be 50-50. It's the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard.
She said it's the biggest crock of bullshit she's ever heard. It's going to take a lot for that to sink deep. It's going to take a lot.
It's never 50-50.
Yeah.
Ever.
Ever.
And so what we do is we quantify where we are. So if Steve...
It's the quantification that's problematic. Why are you quantifying with your partner for life? Go make sense now. Are you guys not with me? But I bet you're not with me on this. You just sit down there, you're counting numbers against your partner all day long, man or woman. Go make sense. MOP gave only one scenario where the man is wrong. I'm not sure how you got that from this message, but I would like some kind of elaboration. You can't sit down there and just be quantifying and be measuring and measuring. That's why I say focus on giving. You go into relationships to go and give. If you can't give, you are probably drained. Give to yourself. You should always be giving only from a place of abundance. If that's not enough, that means you don't feel good with this person. Move on with your life. Easier said than done, granted. But that's the only solution regardless. Because you will be competing with your partner for the rest of your life. What kind of life is that? No be juju be that.
Not be juju be that.
Steve comes home and he'll be like, I got 20.
Just in terms of energy.
Just energy.
The man says, I got 20 off of energy. See, this is our brothers, Brother Ben. A man, it's okay for a man to come and say, babe, I got 20. I got you next week, but I got 20. Not just financial, energy wise, I just don't have it today. What does she say?
Investment, kindness, patience.
Investment, kindness, patience.
I'm at a 20. And I'll be like, I'll cover you. I got you, brother.
I'm at a 20. What does the woman? The woman now says, I got you. I got you. I got you, babe. All right. Over the last few days here, I've had a stressful time. And my wife can tell. She could tell. And she will be like, Bala babe. Bala babe. Even me, I get tired of the Bala babe. I feel like, wait. Stop this. Slow down with the Bala. I got this. I got this. Right? But it's so helpful when you have a person who is not measuring against you in like every energy is just like me against you. Right? But it's also because there's something inside of the love tank. The 5 love languages. Right? There's something inside the love tank. If that love tank is empty, she has nothing to give you. Now don't drain each other dry. Nothing. If you can sort this level out, the money thing is small. She will give you 100%. Let's not shoot ourselves on the legs. She will give you everything. Once she feels safe, she will give you everything. I don't have to say that about the men, because the men generally, a good man understands that he takes care of the family. I don't have to preach to them about that. This issue is trying to make women submit their money. If you have to say that, it's like asking for respect and submission, and it does not work. You go shalaye tired. It does not work. You don't have enough. You don't have enough.
Like, I'll pull the 80. Sometimes we come home, which we have done a lot. My mom has been sick, and I'll say, I've got 10. And Steve would,
sometimes she'll say, I've got 10. I don't even have my 100%. But I got you. Shout out to Chidima for the $20. She said my 20%. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to play this for you. Let's play this one for you. Thank you so much. AGOIO says, be open and sincere. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Not juju. Exactly. Give what you can. Compliment each other, not competing. It's real. It's real. The competition thing is real out here. People go inside of marriage to go and compete. To me, it's like no wonder. And then when they want to talk about the issues, they're still competing. It's like, oh, there you go. That's the issue. What's the issue? You're competing. What do you mean competing? We should just be fair. There you have it. I know. It sounds cute on paper. Fairness. I get it. It should just be fair, right? But does it work? Not inside of marriage. Actually, it doesn't work in life. Okay? It only works at the labor law, where they preach fairness and equity, and then we come into Western world, and truthfully, we enjoy some level of fairness. But wait until you rub the wrong thing. I was having a disagreement with my uncle on the Sharp Edge News Tales. He wanted to touch on the thing that's going on in the Middle East, the religious war thing. I said, no, we don't want to touch that. He didn't really get it. He said it's not fair that they can silence you. I said, it's not fair, waiting. Leave that topic alone. Okay? It took him a while. It was an argument. I was like, no, let's not do that. Like, how can YouTube, Facebook, and all these platforms silence? We're like, it seems. Shh. Okay? So we're not moving in fair. No, it's not that. If you want to do it, that's your mission in life, please, by all means, knock yourself out. If they shut you down here, you can go to another platform, TikTok. You'll be running around, scatter. If that's your mission in life, it's not mine. It's not mine. My mission in this life is to win. Okay? And when I win, I bring my loved ones along. I don't win against my loved ones. My loved ones also benefit from winning. That's my idea of winning. What's the point of winning? I'm the only one winning. I'm winning against my partner. What? But I say, is it everyone that can say, I got you? Speak about those type, please. The one that, I said it already. The one that feels safe and secure, they don't have to say it. They just got you. It's not about the saying it. I know you understand that. It's about they just got you, right? Nothing else makes sense to them than they have to have your back. Because remember, it's a feeling. There's intrinsic value there. They feel safe and secure. The man, because of our primitive nature, generally wants to take care of his family unless it's a deadbeat. I don't talk to deadbeats. I just don't. I don't think me preaching to them helps anything. The only thing I can do for them, be a good example. That's all I can do for deadbeats. So primitive nature of man, which is one of the issues. I preach to men here all the time. I say, you deserve soft life. But you're not going to achieve that soft life competing with your wife. It's not going to happen. All right? I'm saying that so you don't end up in competitive arguments with your wife. Right? So you're not just there like say, hey, you're supposed to. If you have to say supposed to, that's fantasy. It's not working. It's not working. You have not earned that respect, which is why you're trying to force it. Right? That's why those kind of men struggle, because it's like pulling teeth. They can't comprehend why it's not working. A reasonable person should be. So why would she be working and be pocketing all our money? I have a feeling it's a lot deeper than that. If that's the true story, if that is the true story right there, just leave her now. Just let that woman go. Let her go. Let her go to somebody else. She can go and show somebody else shaggy. You too, you deserve soft life. It is not soft life to be arguing with your wife on how she should bring 50-50. That's not soft life for you, gentlemen. Okay? That is literally a life of struggle. Obviously. Even financially. Obviously. That's a life of struggle. It's not worth it for you. Okay? Let her go. And what would that achieve? So I already speak on those type. I already did. Yeah. The woman that got you, not even just saying it. She just got you. Yeah. A woman will now respect a man who is always demanding. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. It will be a struggle. Not because 50-50 doesn't make sense on paper, remember? It's about, it just feels some type of way. Just, even as a normal man, you yourself don't feel right. That you have to ask your woman for that. You already don't feel right. It's already a very uncomfortable. That should tell you something. That already feels uncomfortable. Not me I will ask, okay. If that's working for you, very simple. You just keep doing what's working. You don't have to change anything that's working, right? Just keep doing it, right? That's it. We're in it together. Help mates, not running mates. Yep. Men talk about women having higher unrealistic expectations. Isn't 50-50 or 50% 50% an unrealistic expectation from men? Like I said, it's like that's actually shooting ourselves on the legs, because that woman will drop everything she has if there's a need to do that. If you stay in your own lane as a man, right? What is your own lane? The leader. I'm not going to shy away from that. You're the leader. Not just because I say you want to be the leader, as a matter of fact. Stay in your own lane. If there's a need for the people that are following you to add some resources to the pot, there's a way a leader communicates that. All right? It's not going to be like you're going to have to sell. You have to communicate the value in doing that. It's your job to have that vision. It's your job to communicate the vision. So how you communicate, you have to have a solid vision first that makes sense, that people can follow, right? But then it's also your job to communicate that vision. All right? And women lead in so many different ways, you know? They lead in so many different ways. So it's not to say women can't be a leader. I'm talking about the family structure today. I'm talking about marriage in particular. I'm talking about the nature of marriage from a traditional standpoint, right? I told you before, there's all kind of indications and signs that my grandmother, okay, they've been dead now for 15, 20 years, okay? As in like people that were born between 1900 something and 1930 something, right? There's all kind of indication that my grandmother, she was the second wife, that she dropped a lot of dough to make my grandfather look like the king that he was, right? But that man, I remember I grew up watching him, right? He would sit in front of the house like this in the village. They have that thing like that. They're the king. You won't hear it anywhere. And she feels a sense of pride that she doesn't have to say that in public ever. You think that was 50-50? If you're asking for 50-50, you're shooting yourself on the legs. The issues are deeper. You could get a lot more. You can get a lot more. It's the point of this conversation. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Let's finish this video.
2 days ago said, I'm riding a solid 25. So we know that we have to sit down at the table anytime we have less than 100 combined.
They know anytime they have less than 100, they have to sit down at the table. It's just a different vibe in that conversation.
And figure out a plan of kindness toward each other.
And figure out a plan of kindness to each other. She's not even talking about finances. She's talking about kindness. Maybe you blew up. That happens to normal human beings. Maybe you got caught up in a funky place and you just snapped at your partner, right? That person that's coming from a place of weakness, right? But at that point in time, you know, we got to talk, right? We got to talk, right? That can include giving them some space to process that. We got to talk, right? Because if you don't do that, that's a toxic relationship, right? You will build resentment over time, you know. So I do believe in talking and having a conversation. I just think you should add time into that. It's not just enough that you want to talk. What if the other person is not ready to talk? Well, we were told not to talk. Shout out to Natu. If we go not, you know, bring this stuff into the bed and sleep overnight. No, it's okay to sleep. You wake up. Okay, it might be tough for you because you're that kind of person. You're married to them now. It's in your best interest to give them that space, that time, so that you can actually get to the conversation in a more healthier way, as opposed to just because they're gonna just dismiss you. That's what's gonna happen. They'll be dismissive in the way they'll respond to you. You won't even like yourself, right? So if anytime you just at least you start with yourself, like, okay, we're not in a good place. You know that you have 20%, you have 25%. Ideally 100. Is that a reality? No. 50-50, what is that? I can even still entertain the 100 conversation. Just let's not make it about the math. 100 equals to 1 2. Let's not make it about that. I can entertain that, but that's ideally, that's the goal. But the reality is that you'll be carrying each other for a long time. Sometimes somebody is weak, you have the strength. In other areas of life, you have strength, weakness. That's the reality of this thing. Okay. Well, the conversation was about finances. You need if you are that good in your finances and there's money, talk to a financial advisor. Okay, talk to a financial advisor. That's not the issue. I disagree. So we have to talk to financial advisor in budgeting. Listen, if you go to your phone right now, just type in budget on your app store. There's all types of applications that you don't have to argue if 50-50 is good or not. And you guys can budget around some kind of standard as opposed to trying to camouflage this and act like this is about 50-50. No, it was never about 50-50. It's basically about two people that are supposed to be married competing with each other. Will it work?
Yeah, because the thing is, marriage is not something that's 50-50. A partnership works when you can carry their 20 or they can carry your 20. And that when you both just have 20, you have a plan where you don't hurt each other.
Right. The 80-20 Pareto rule, all of that. That's probably more of a safer conversation because you're not playing the equality thing. You're just knowing that sometimes that thing that you call marriage, somebody's carrying the 20 for you. Right? That's just principles of life, you know. So we got one more. I didn't know this topic was going to be this long, but I'm glad it's doing justice. We got one more on the 50-50 topic. Let's do it.
Marriage is not.
You already know where it's going, but you know we know a lot of men don't really mess with Steve Harvey too, but that's their problem. Let's see here. AG Ohio says your grandma was a Proverb 13 woman, great woman. She was. When it comes to that, she was. And you know, a lot of people will testify to that, you know. But let me say let me play Uncle Steve.
50-50. It has never been.
No, wait. Start from beginning. Uncle
Marriage
Steve.
is not 50-50. It has never been 50-50. It will never be 50-50. I'm going to hold up a card and I'm going to show you what marriage is. Marriage is 85-15. 85 to the woman and 15 to the man. And let me explain something to you. The reason a woman is in charge of the house is because they know more about it. They know the kids' schedule. They know your schedule. They know the bills. They know where everybody goes. They take care of vacations. They run everything in the house because they care about everything. You a dude.
You a dude.
You just know about your job. You don't know nothing else. You don't know nothing else. And guess what? I'm happy.
Right.
I come home and I'm happy.
He said, guess what? And I'm happy. Okay? I'm happy. If you disagree with him, I'm open for a debate. Just keep in mind, I'm going to ask you for examples. We're not just going to talk in generals. All right? We're not just going to talk. We're going to give scenario-based. I'm working on a quiz, scenario-based quiz that might have maybe about 70 to 100 questions that you can take as assessment to test your knowledge of some of this stuff I'll be talking about. Scenario-based. Okay? We will be doing scenario-based in that conversation. If you say something is generalized, I'm just going to be like, I agree. Because honestly, if you're generalizing, I think you're right.
Well, you're right.
I can't argue with generalized stuff. I can't. Sorry. But if we can talk about scenarios, then we can talk. We can have a little bit more conversation. He did say 85-15, right? It's the same thing. 80-20, 85-15. So the point is that it's not some equality fairness nonsense. That's the point. Okay, some people might say 70-30. There's just a figure of speech, right? That sometimes somebody else is carrying, and he was more specific about the home, right? He was more specific about the home. Obviously, in a typical situation, not all situation, not all, hashtag not all. Mutigbo, in a typical situation, the woman is carrying the home. That doesn't mean she's cooking, by the way. That's the least part about the home. Okay, she's carrying the home, the family, the kids, the children, and he goes, you're a dude. What's that supposed to mean? You don't know what that means? Okay, again, I'm open for debate on this platform at any time. Then we can talk a little bit deeper into that because we're here. We're going to be having this conversation. We're not going anywhere. All right. Shout out to that. All right. So at the beginning of the show, we wanted to know if you guys would chime in. What do you think the goal should be for this month? We hit our goal and surpassed it last month by $38. Okay, by $38. So we wanted to set a goal for this month. Last month's goal was $200, and we surpassed it. So we did $338. So I wanted to set a goal. I want you guys to help me set a goal, not to set $300. And we already have Chidima already put $20 towards that. I appreciate you, Chidima. So shout out to you. Just wanted to put a reminder quickly on that. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Let's ping everybody else into the room. All right. And if you like the segment, you're going to like the next one. I promise. But leave me your comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking about all of this. You just disagree, agree, disagree. Let's talk. If you disagree, you are making it okay for me to continue to try to convince you, just so you know. I don't do agree to disagree. We are having an ongoing conversation. I do that in real life, not on this show. We are having an ongoing conversation. We might never get to agree, but I don't do agree to disagree. No, I have content to create. So obviously we're not going to end the conversation. All right. So yeah, I'll be back in a few. Check out this next segment.
Your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.